Okay, my session just started, and I just want to show you how I'm just gonna walk through what it's like because they attacked me as soon as I got in here. So as soon as I got in the room alone, so I'm just gonna. It took me a minute to get off of this little chair thing, but I'm just gonna allow you to observe what it's like as I go through the process of preparing for something. My head hurts. You will never look at people, entertainers, and things of that nature the same. Because you'll begin to recognize how it's impossible to have such extreme changes in character. They're still locking me out of my Gmail account. My eWorld 623. Just rejecting the password. So I'm going to use California to Ohio. Which is actually registered to my YouTube account. I have been having the last couple of days. Today is Wednesday. None of my information came up on Facebook as soon as I pulled it up. The day before yesterday, when I opened it, when I put it in Facebook, my account just opened. It was wide open. They already had it logged in, and that's from a computer that was just turned on. And the desk clerks, they have to actually log on to these computers for us. So I can't just come in and get on. They have their come in with me, log me on, and then I'll be able to utilize it. And then yesterday, it still had my information at the top. I hate when that happens because I'm going through enough privacy issues as it is. And I always make sure I log out appropriately. it's crazy because injustice is written all over this. Like for anyone that comes in and uses this, I mean, and on top of that, it's like, this is art. This is a form of art. Normally, artists look into other artists' work. That's how they come to know one another. And do you really believe people are coming in and just missing any of this, especially the signs? It's one thing to not watch a video, but it's another thing to not notice. You can't help but read a sign, and these signs are disturbing. This is what I normally do. I normally work on, like, I don't know, 3 things at once. Three things at once, just because whenever I'm writing a complaint or request, something of that nature, can you see that? There's 3 screens open. But I normally do it that way because when I'm writing on this one down here, like a complaint, when I'm working on something like that, the further along I get with it, they begin to start attacking my mind and just clouding my thoughts and jamming them. And then before long, the sentences are, it just causes me more work in the long run. And then right here, this is my Facebook page and social media. I have YouTube and Facebook pulled up. And like I said, they're blocking the wrong Gmail account. And then over here, over here, that's the iMovie, where all this stuff is imported. And you can't edit it. And as you know, the edit features don't work for me like they work for everyone else. This girl is just about to be working. They don't know how to people know she's working. There is very rare that they allow me to just come and blow through stuff as quickly as I'm able to. It's very rare. And this is another thing. This fact sheet is kind of like a supporting document for the little yellow booklet that I showed a while back. Has a lot of this information, but like I said, it's supporting stuff. Excuse me. It's supporting stuff. But as you can see, it's marked up. It's marked up really, really, really bad. It needs some. And that's all stuff that I need to, put in. I haven't even got a chance to edit the document itself, because they would attack me so bad when I worked on this that it was impossible to get it complete. Impossible to get it complete. And it's about a 17-page document. Maybe much longer than that, though, once I've done and elaborate on it. But it has a lot of unfinished concepts in it, because these are the things that some of these are like divine messages, and then some of them are, well, my epiphanies are divine, so, but I haven't gotten a chance to elaborate on any of it. I haven't gotten a chance to like fully explore it and fully to mesh it and make it come together. I haven't got a chance to do any of that. These people slow me down in any way that they can. As they lie on me to these imposters, it's crazy. It's just one group of people after another group of people after another group of people, all misinformed. And as soon as they see me, they realize they've been fooled. And sooner or later, they go and someone else shows up. Most agents don't want to be a part of what's going on. And then for the real dirty, messy jobs, they just use spiritual fields, like things that have done assignments for them. People that want to be reincarnated and are doing assignments in the spirit realm. Astral projectors and travelers. The stuff that shows up around you in your family in the form of a smell or a feel or a bias. They have many faces, but they work for long periods of time before they get to a point where they can show up and manifest, where they can be used. I'm really peed off about my planner. I'm really mad about that. I'm mad that the police officers aren't mad about it, but I mean, considering what I'm dealing with, how could I expect them to be? It's bad because there's every once in a while, especially after they pee me off real good, they'll allow someone different, someone that they haven't attacked, someone that they haven't become, someone that they haven't chosen to use yet against me to be on duty. And when I have those type of encounters, it's still unfortunate because even though they're more likely to listen, their jobs still govern their ability to be decent individuals. So while I'm having this encounter and I'm explaining things, just like they're attacking my mind and jamming my thoughts, they're doing the same on their end. So sometimes it makes sense to them, sometimes in every way it makes sense to them, but there's always the suggestion for everything that comes out of my mouth. The point of the suggestion is a trigger, to trigger something in them. Mostly to reject in those type of circumstances. And with the other officers, it's all bad because they already know who I am and they just go all the way in and retaliate because they can't believe that I've even made it this far. Imagine it, just imagine debunking the entire mental health field. And then this is your reality for now. Like you've debunked it all, like everything. And not only have you debunked the mental health care field or umbrella, you've debunked You have the answer. I have the answer to every problem that exists in the world. I have the answer to every problem that exists in the world. And I can fix it with a systematic approach. I'm the only one that can fix it. I'm the only one that can fix it. But that's why they're attacking me so hard. Where else have you known thousands of men and women who have technology on their side to attack one person in this way? So what I've done is, when it comes to tasks and things of that nature, I'm not doing a housing search today. When it comes to tasks and things of that nature, I've resorted to putting them here. And they're yelling and screaming amongst one another right now about how these people, they're imposters that they're giving these suggestions to of schizophrenic. That these people are now going to know that I'm not schizophrenic in any way. And that's kind of why these people switch out so often. The moment that they realize that everything that they've been told was a lie and they can't move against me, they leave. But it's a vicious cycle because it just keeps going on and on and on and on. They don't know when to stop. These people are showing up thinking that this just happened. That we're like, you know, however long in. This has been going on 1.5 years almost. Way too long. And I've been through, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's way too much. As they threaten to kill off my people, these folks are so unaware. They don't know any of the details. They just want to come, get a family that they can use to collect some life insurance policies to send back to themselves. Spiritual field just wants to get a chance to live in any way that they can. They don't care how low or how high. You see what I'm saying? If there's a vested interest in this information I'm getting now. And there's no way to tell people. They're not bothering me right now. I can't believe it. That was the whole point of me making this video, so you can see how I was unable to do anything, but I'm actually able to function right now pretty smoothly. But today I'm gonna and that's another thing, the issue with my anything that I write on. And you'll see that from an old Instagram. I write a whole lot of different ways. Like when I journal, it's pretty dope. But I write a whole lot of different ways. My planner was a reflection of how my mind works. And that's why it's a problem. It's such a problem for me for them to have it. Such a problem for me, to me. But as you see in this journal, well, let me see. This is right side up. Too much light. Okay, I'm gonna go to the side like this. This is right side up. These are just, like I said, some finished concepts, inventory, things of that nature. But in the back, when you flip it around, it starts a different journey or journal. This is where I journal, like about daily experiences, what's taking place. That's what all this stuff is. Let me turn it back around and yeah. But it's functional for me that way. And it helps me keep things separate. My mind, my organs, my supreme functioning organs. The sense, like, that's what these people want. And there's only one thing that could get them to like shy away from the other two for however long. This is insane. No one should be able to do this. Let's talk about lies. While I gather my thoughts, I'm going to type a little. I'm really tired and drained from everything. From everything. And I'm tired of sleeping on the floor. Price of smother. Do you see how that's working? Or can you hear how that's working? How the speed of my typing has changed? That's them. That's what happens when they change something or block something. The neurons. Let me see something. And and synapses are moving.
What do
like
we
they
know about
normally
the
would.
inner workings of the human mind? Surely everything that humans do.
So
Designing skyscrapers,
when I started, I was flying, or
decomposing symphonies,
not even firing on all cylinders, but firing.
is not the product of simple cellular interactions.
But the minute that they throw a block in, block here, block there,
Because
block here,
everything that humans do,
nothing's flowing
feel,
and
is a
connecting
result of
like it's
the
supposed to
basic units of
anymore. You
brain
get what I'm
structure.
saying?
The neurons. The human brain contains more than
See how
5
everything's
billion
firing and just moving and
just like a
flowing.
single ant could never
The minute you
grow
put a
big.
block,
A single neuron
here.
can't think or feel or remember.
it
A neuron's power is a result
slows you
of its
down.
connections to other neurons. Each neuron
slows you down. And they still entertain the idea of just taking, just stealing a whole human being. The only thing that stops them is they don't fight. I'll wake up and fight. I'll wake up and fight. I'll wake up and fight, and I'll never, you know what I'm saying? Like, it will never get to a point where they're like, okay, we can let her go, or are you going to be all right? Do you understand why I did this? Do you understand why I went this far with you? It's never going to get to a point where none of that will be okay. To this shit. And they're going off right now because they're saying that the other agents, I guess the ones that they've been kind of lying to, they lie a lot about where they are in terms of progress with what's going on with me. And they tell them all types of stuff. So I guess that's where the clone would come in. He was saying, you know, they know that we're trying to become her and that one of us wants her and some other stuff. But make no mistake, all agencies are informed. But I was saying, I don't know if it caught the part when I was talking about my them talking about my great grandmother. They were entertaining killing her again, and it's attempted murder But I can't even go to the police station and tell these people that without them retaliating against me. I have officers acting like basic matters that are easily understood don't make sense. Coverts. They're coverts that are moving against me and trying to silence me while they kill my people off. But while I was making that statement and finishing up this paragraph, they were saying that they're going to know, that the people of America are going to know that they were trying to kill off my relatives so that no one would say anything when I came up missing. Imagine that. Imagine. Imagine fighting this type of fight, watching your relatives die, it's so many different elements of this fight, but imagine that. Imagine them trying to kill your people off so that no one would say anything when they killed you. They've attacked everyone I know, friends and family. I know a lot of people. I know people in just about 17 states, 14, 17 states, something like that. You'll see it in another video. I know people all over. They have attacked people all over so that no one will stand up and say anything, so that no one would act on this matter, so that no one would help, so that no one would support me in any way. They don't want me to have money. They don't want me to have a place to stay. They don't want me to have a place to be still, which is why they retaliating at places like the university and the hospital, places where I could normally sit and be idle for like a few hours at a time. But they're trying to kill my people so they can kill me, and no one will ask any questions. And I mean, they will have all types of goodies to divvy up. They probably like my clone better because it's less ruly. You know, it's not going to give them the attitude, the fight that I'm going to give them. And their females and males can jump in and out of it and use it themselves. But in terms of killing me, just think about how many organs and cells, like good, healthy organs and supreme functioning, DNA that they would have to divvy up. That's a problem. That's a problem. They said this man, they're referring to me as a man, which will throw me off, that I'm looking at scientists like they're not going to be able to look into people's futures anymore. You damn right they are. I'm taking everything. Mark my word. And they were going to check this out. They were hoping that I joined the military again so they could start a war, send me to war, and kill me there. The men they have a vested interest in. They already have them where they're just not even on anyone's radar. Once I filed restraining orders against them, they just said, okay, cool, we can keep our distance, do our thing, and hopefully no one finds out about all the wrong we've done, all the crimes we've committed towards her. And then the women, they're trying to kill my women off. They're trying to they killed my cousin and her mom. Like, 7-8 months apart. They killed my cousin and her mom 7-8 months apart. Both of those women had met DNA. Right now they're working on my great-grandmother, and they just killed her daughter December. Once again, that's 7-8 months apart. In between, they're killing the men that won't move against me. Cousins. This is a problem. In terms of they've even entertained killing my equal, which is Nate's imposter. I mean, well, it's not Nate's imposter, but it's Nate. You know, their version of Adam. But I want to give you, I'm going to say this real quick, and I'll go into it in greater detail. Think about it. If we're the only indigenous strand, if Hebrew African Americans are the only indigenous strand that Christ can return through, look at the lie about everything that's been painted before you. Look at the lie about everything that's been painted before you. Angels are not Caucasian. That's a race that was created. And they aren't spiritually gifted. And it's not always their fault. Sometimes it's not even beknownst to them. They think they have a gift that's being played out as a mind trick. That's what the chip implants are for. But in other cases, they do know, and it's demonic. Like, I can't reference the guy's name. But anyhow, sometimes they do know. So look, one thing, they can't be, they're not gifted. That's not their true identity. And the Bible has been meddled through by scientific scholars. It's been meddled through by scientific scholars. Everything is a lie. If I'm Adam and he's Eve, and through us Christ returns, what does that tell you about Adam and Eve's story? And what does it tell you about the depiction that they painted of Eve? About she was a problem. That's how they're treating me, like I'm a problem for wanting people to know this hidden knowledge, to know that we are naked all the time. They're treating me like a problem for wanting people, you and your families, to know that we're naked all the time. That there's people watching everything that you do. There's people watching everything that you do. Commercials that resonate with you. The idea was taken from me. You get what I'm saying? It was you. They're looking at you, watching the things you do, and then playing it out on television as people that no one knows. Think about most of the people in commercials. No one knows who these people are. a bunch of lies. And the only way to combat lies is with the truth. And when you're telling the truth, the best way to deliver it is just to tell it with lots of facts. So right now, I'm molding and I'm doing things in a way that scientists are going to have to come clean. Most of them are going to have to go. They're not even going to be able to exist anymore. And once we get good scientists back in the equation, trust and believe that everything they do will be monitored. And they're saying that she's taking her power back in every way. Every time I make certain statements, those are the type of things that they say because they know that the imposters will catch wind of it. But all they're going to do is switch them out again. This is a vicious cycle. This is not my first time. This is not my second. That's not my 10th, my 20th, or my 30th going through this. They're rotating these people in and out like clockwork. As I disapprove everything, while they try to steal my work and my information. They're trying to steal my work, my information. That's why those concepts over there were left incomplete, because only I can complete them. She was. And that could have been one video. There's no reason why this shouldn't have just been one video. You're just looking for me to have to put this information in more areas. Now I have to import both videos to this iMovie, but I could have just imported them to the file, to the different, what is it called? It's a different program. They come there first and then I import them to iMovie. But I could have just left it there and immediately uploaded it to Facebook. Now I have to import them so that I can connect the two videos and make them one. Who's able to do stuff like that? Why? No one's going to find this okay. You have no business having unauthorized remote access to any of this. You have no business being able to stop the camera from rolling. You have no business being able to turn devices on and off. It's just so many crimes. It's crime on top of crime being made by private citizens. What'd you say? Speak up, reptile. Stop trying to snake me. And you know what? It's weird because when I last spoke with my grandmother's nurse, she told me she was doing better and she was walking around. This is the day after I saw her. That she was walking around on her own again, or using her walker anyhow. And you know, she just said that her sleep pattern was off. She was now up in the middle of the night and sleeping during the day. So her sleep cycle, her circadian rhythm is off. She's sleeping at opposite times of the day. And the first thing she thought to do, she's like, well, yeah, I'm going to see if I can go ahead and prescribe her some melatonin. And I'm like, no, if I were you, I wouldn't do that. Because there's a couple reasons why that shouldn't have been the first thing that she said. She should have suggested. First of all, she should have gave it some time. This has only been going on maybe 2 days. She should have gave it some time for it to sort itself out, for her circadian rhythm to catch back up to day and night fall on its own. Without medicating. Another thing, why is it an issue for her to be up late at night? She's in a nursing home. That's what they're there for. It's not like they're, you know what I'm saying? She's just up. What is she going to do? Sit? Watch TV? It's not like she's on the phone talking. You get what I'm saying? They want these people to be medicated and down. They want you to sleep when they want you to sleep. And they act like it's a problem for you to be up at night. And their solution is more medicine. That's a problem. Last I recall, she was on 3 pills. She took one, or maybe it was 2 pills. She took one 3 times a day and then the other 2 times a day. And look at the completeness that they orchestrated to even get her there. She was in a group. These people made it look like she had a fire. Not a fire. They made it look like she left her, her eye on the stove on. They can turn eyes on the stove on. They've done the same thing at my mother's place. These aren't irresponsible women. But this is the type of stuff that they do to discredit them. So when their imposter shows up, they make changes immediately and they think it's justifiable. I was the only one who raised my eyebrow when they put her in a home. And that's following other information she revealed to me. The devil is a lie. You can stop entertaining harm in me. These people are the reason that the oddest things happen and take place in family. And when they possess everyone that knows you, no one says anything about it. No one says anything about it. These people don't talk about how well they've known you, about your history. They don't talk about anything. They don't talk about anything that conflicts. Because they're okay with it all. That's why they're there. Anything goes with them. Okay. See that? Didn't even need to click on mail. Now they want to act up. They're talking about how they're going to show people the type of stuff I'm talking about, and that's exactly what they're doing. I just logged out. I'm trying to, it says, please wait. I'm going to refresh it. And now I'm removing my Gmail from the list of accounts that's on the browser. I do the same thing all the time. Okay, I have that so I can finish that. I want to show you Cindy Trimm then and now, because what she was talking about back then is a reflection of what we're going through now. And it's people like her that they saw it necessary to become, to one, sway viewers, and to two, keep her from teaching. Her teachings now are nothing like they were back then. She's no longer teaching. She's no longer teaching, and they've completely made a mockery of everything that was great about her. And I'm going to show you her appearance.
For your life, why don't we bow our heads right now?
No, we won't be bowing our heads with you. You will not be praying over me.
Oh, Father God, in the name of you got folks traveling with you. Attitude. That's because I'm gonna give you. That ain't God. That ain't in the social realm.
When you talk about prayer and God, we've been at a time where you have to be specific about who you're referring to. There's many guys. Every time these reptiles behind the pulpit reference God, your prayers are being rerouted. And you wonder why you have so many attacks on your life. I don't care how little they are. That's not life fulfilled. And let me reference my notes on this video so I can get right to it. I got notes on my Facebook page. Because I talk a lot about reptile, which are none other than scientific men and women. I only have 2 friends. Oh, I told you that in another video. Okay, reptiles who are scientific men and women that travel in the spirit realm. They possess people. So the chip gives them access to the mind. They remove and add thoughts, recreate experiences, and then they come, astral travel and projection, and be you. They move into you and become you. And there's many of them, so there's many different personalities. And when the government agent shows up, they always show up for a reason. They're there to dismantle an angel or dismantle whoever is morally right. Because like I told you, an angel does not have many identities. An angel used out of context has many identities. But an angel used in the correct context only has one identity. Okay, nurse and stuff. might be here. Then again, I think I might have put it here. Yeah. Okay. So, can you see what I'm doing? So look, it's in under this, the one with spirits, a post that was made May 31st. You can find the video and my notes.
Locks us in the atmosphere, so as we're spinning around the universe, we don't get thrown off of the earth. And so there's something that is stronger in the earth realm than gravity. It's called the magnetic pull, out of which you get the North Pole and the South Pole. I want to go somewhere with this. North Pole and South Pole. So that means that we are locked here in the earth realm through our physical bodies. But the spirit is what keeps us from being locked into this third dimension. After the third dimension, you have a fourth, which is the first heaven, which is the atmospheric heaven. You have the fifth dimension, which is the second heaven, which is the intergalactic. And then with all the stars and the planets and the galaxy. And then you get into the third heaven. And if you count, that gives us 6 dimensions. Did y'all get that? Did y'all get that? Did y'all get that? No, don't shake your head, yeah, because some of y'all sitting here and you ain't just...
That's a cloud.
And that means that we are risen, not only risen, we are seated in heavenly places. Now, there's a difference between standing and seating. I'm British American. And so, before I became an American, it takes Paul into his mind before the foundations of the world.
Yes.
So he has this revelation. And as he has this revelation, he addresses the church. And he says, I want to commend you into the love of God, which has height and breadth and width and depth. That means that once you move into the dimensions of God, you move into the 10th dimension, which is a number of authority and law, because you're moving into that dimension. Once you move into that dimension, then you begin to legislate here on this earth realm. This is where you get into Psalm 82. The Bible said, have not I called you gods? And I know a lot of people get it mixed up, but it simply means my earthly representative. It's like the Supreme Court.
Pause. I'm your earthly representative.
We're like the little court system here in the earth realm. We don't create legislation, we enact it and enforce it. Because it comes from the supreme God, every piece of legislation. And so if there are illegal laws, remember in the book of Deuteronomy, Daniel chapter 7, verse 25, the Bible said that when Satan moves in the earth realm, he's going to attempt to change laws and times. Now,
they have changed laws and times. And they've changed laws in a way that you now have to accept those that are possessed. And they opened the door with LGBT. And although LGBT is a form of demon possession, it's not the face of demon possession. There's people that are possessed that don't have a different sex orientation. So it's a much bigger problem than it seems. But look at how big they moved in numbers. Also consider those that moved with them and helped them fight that were just misinformed.
You shall decree a thing, and it shall be established. This is where you get into a spiritual authority. To decree a thing means to legislate it. It means to enforce it in the earth realm. Simply put, the enemy wants to release words into the atmosphere atmosphere called curses. When he releases it into the atmosphere, we have the legitimate power to work is attached to assignment, and work is attached to potential. That's why enjoy a healthy lifestyle.
I want to play that part for you again.
He never told a man to get a job. He said work is different from a job. Work is attached to purpose. Work is attached to assignment, and work is attached to potential. That's why Jesus said, I must work the works of him while it is yet day. He didn't get a job. He did the work of the ministry. And so the church is here, and a mandate is a precursor to a mindset. Therefore, if God said that you should do something, he gives you the mindset.
If our Creator
so
said.
The Great Commission is misunderstood. The Bible said, go into all the world and preach the gospel. We have to clarify what the gospel is. The gospel is not Jesus saved. If you just preach the message of Jesus saved, Jesus said, I am the door. That means that you're going to get people to the door. You'll preach at the door. You pay your tithes at the door. And you're going to die at the door. But if someone said, I'm going to give you the keys to a kingdom, I'm going to be mad if all I get is a door.
Okay.
The kingdom of God is different from the kingdoms of this world. When Satan tempted Jesus based on his spiritual authority, he tried to seduce him and said, I'll give you his third temptation. I'll give you the kingdoms of the fivefold ministry gifts works in ranks and in order, and each one of the fivefold ministry gifts become the tacticians of the kingdom. And then we were mantles. Each one of us, our mantles determines, number one, the angelic host that reinforces us. Number two, it is the shrouding upon our flesh that hides the flesh in the realm of the spirit, so that when people see us, they don't see our character that moves into a straight line. In other words, if it starts here and it ends up there, it has to move in a straight line. It's called a graviton. So scientists couldn't understand in these different dimensions how it is if the dimensions make
I can't wait till she
curves and
returns.
turns, how it is that this graviton still moves in a straight line. And then they discovered that the graviton does not adjust to the dimensions, but the dimensions adjust to the graviton. This is where faith comes in.
Because after you go
Faith
through
is
something like this,
God shooting something from out of the
you just have that
dimension
much more to offer.
into
I
your
cannot
mind.
wait till she
Download
returns
as
to
a
hear what she
vision
has to say.
or purpose or an assignment or a mission in the earth realm. And he says, you are here. Prove to these individuals who I am. Give us an open heaven. The Bible.
Okay, I'm looking for something.
Something in the spirit realm. And what he saw in the spirit realm, he saw what his mantle represented. The power was not in the cloak. The power is what was in the anointing that was upon the man's life. This man was so powerful. The Bible indicated that he had legions of angels that supported him in ministry. In other words, what people see is you, evangelist, prophetess Bynum, but what they don't see is the cadre of angels that have been summoned to support you. There are angelic beings that have your DNA. The Bible said that when Rhoda was interceding for Peter, Peter was apostolic. There was an angel that was released. One angel, one angel, one angel. In the book of Isaiah chapter 37, the Bible said one angel has the power to destroy 185,000 men.
Now, real quick, since we're on the topic of angels and my identity, not just my identity, but I'm just saying this is part of my identity. Since we're on the topic, I just want to clarify something. She's separating the two. She's separating angels from flesh. I am an angel in the flesh. The spirit, my spirit, is a part of me. It's the part of me that allows me to reach both higher kingdoms and lower dimensions. So they're not separate. The two are joined. In the spirit realm, right now, I can reach her. In the spirit realm, right now, I can go and talk directly to Christ. In the spirit realm, I can go to higher dimensions and talk to my Creator himself. I just wanted to clarify.
Jesus in his kingdom authority stood up and they said, who do do you think you are? He said, if I wanted to, I would summons 12 legions of angels. This is the mantle that was upon the head of Jesus. What does that mean? If Jesus Christ is the head of the church, that means the minimum we have fighting for us in the realm of the spirit is 12 legions. That's the minimum. What does that mean? It simply means this. I'm going to tell you what it means. If one angel has the power to destroy 185,000 men, that's an entire city.
That's my fight against men of
sciences.
sciences.
Entire city, 12 legions. That means a legion is 6,000 angels. So that's 6,000.
I need more
times
angels.
12. That's 72,000.
They're keeping this message from getting to angels. I cannot wait till this gets out and we all get to form together.
185,000 times 72,000. That puts us in billions. That's why the Bible said you don't have to fear as a prophet, because they may see you as one woman, but what they don't see is the angelic host that is backing you up. That's why Paul said, though I speak with tongues of man and of angels. What was he talking about? He said, I have a tongue that summons angels. That's why I tell people, don't mess with a man or a woman of God. You don't know the power that they have in the realm of the spirit. Listen, a mantle is not just the unction to function, but the mantle,
The unction
is
to
all
function.
the resources that God gives you.
With all that I'm going through, I have the unction to function.
Every dimension to fulfill your mission and your purpose here in the earth realm. That takes me back to the question of the church.
Question of the church. All right then.
The church,
I got a big problem with churches. That's why when people walk up to me, when these reptiles in disguise that don't know who I am at first glance, walk up to me and ask me, and I tell them about this matter. I know who they are already. I tell them about this matter, and then they ask, well, do you have a church home? I don't want to hear about your church home, and I don't want to hear about your pastor. Neither can do anything for the fight that I'm fighting.
to affect and to enforce and to propagate and preach the gospel of the kingdom to the world, not the earth, not the terra firma, but to the world. Now, the earth is, if this is the earth, then the world has to be suspended just above the earth. It's the spirit realm. It's the cosmos. It's the spirit world. It's a world in the spirit. And I'm going to break it down to make it very, very simple. The Bible said the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of His Christ. So that means that the church is to bring the kingdoms back into divine alignment, right? There are 8 kingdoms. There's the southern kingdom. So you've got all these angelic beings. Every angel has an assignment. For instance, you have angels that measure territories. The Bible said in the book of Zechariah.
Okay, I finally found it.
Jesus goes into a city, and there were territorial demons, and they possessed this man. He was high-ranking, kept an entire city, just terrified a city. Jesus comes in, and these were not principalities. And so as soon as Jesus walks in, they say, listen, don't torment us. Why did they say it? Because he outranked all these little demons, and so they had to submit. Then they worshiped him, and then begged him, they requested of him, could you please send us? That means that, for all intents and purposes, many of us that are here outrank these low-level demonic spirits. We outrank them. So they need to ask us permission. Let me give an example. When the Lord was giving me an understanding of where I was ranking and training me in this thing, I used to have witches that astral projected either in my home or in my...
She just mentioned witches that astral project. Witches are scientific men and women of science, government agents, skilled in astral projection. It's the same difference. She said they were projecting, astral projecting in her home. These things astral project around me all the time. And when they show up, they smell foul. They smell foul. They manifest in some of the foulest smells known to mankind. And it's bad because I think I spoke about this in one of the other videos. We had, when I was at the homeless shelter, there were a couple of times when we enter into the woman's area and there be a thing, like there be an agent in the corner, and it was the foulest smell. It smelled like a female, like a female with bad hygiene. And for the longest it kept some of the women just riled up, and they talk about it, and I had to explain to them. I explained to them that pretty much it's it's a spirit, that it's just someone in the spirit realm there to disturb us, and every time I would address it, it would leave. But these are the things that are showing up around women and ruining their reputation. That's the whole reason that they show up. For a while there, they were trying to place it on one of the ladies. But me knowing better, it was only right that I address it so that everyone could be informed. Because there's a way to deal with everything.
My car. And then God showed me, these people don't have any authority. So I used to say, by whose authority are you here? Then I thought,
instead of saying by whose authority are you here, ask which government agency are you with, and it will flee. Because the chip is the reason that spiritual warfare exists. The RFID chip implant is the reason that spiritual warfare exists. It puts you in the matrix. It makes you a part of their game.
there. If you astral project one more time, I'll keep you out of your bodies. They never came back. I never had those kinds of...
And she said if they astral project, she told, she threatened them that she'll keep them out of their bodies. I bind it in hell. Those that don't have bodies to go back to, like those that can't wake up in the lab, those that can't return to the lab, wherever they're doing this stuff from remotely, those that don't have somewhere to go, they go straight to hell and they're binded there, where they can no longer manifest nor surface again.
Visitation. Why? Because ignorance keeps us in bondage. And one of the most powerful tools that the enemy uses against us is ignorance. So I don't have, the Bible said the thing that Job feared came upon him. Fear gives open doors to the enemy. He outranked many. Job was powerful in his day, but fear opened up doors. And so fear is not the opposite of faith. Unbelief is the antithesis of faith. So fear means that you are ignorant in a certain area, and many of us are ignorant concerning the legalities of the enemy. So this, going back into that dimension, everything works in rank and in order.
I don't know fear. I don't know fear. And this just made me want to touch on something real quick. Neither do children. Children don't know fear. Fear is instilled in children. They learn it. Fear is learned from an experience or from a suggestion. So as I'm mentoring my nephew to know that he's a king, to stand in the fact that he's a king and to fear nothing and no one and to stand tall, he go home to dogma, and a man that was not his father constantly putting him and his mother in fear, tearing him down, teaching him that he needed to be a real nigga versus the king. And every time he recites something that was being instilled or embedded in him, that man would attack it. He was attacking this child. Which is why he was terrified. He was always terrified to go home. And he would talk about it, but never in detail. So children, that's why you have to be careful how you talk. to children. They don't know fear. Fear is something that you're showing them or forcing on them.
And so you've got these archangels. There were three of them. There was Lucifer, there's Michael, and there's Gabriel. Now, when God sent a message to Mary, he said Gabriel. One of the reasons was...
Okay, you often hear me mention demon seeds. And when I refer to a demon seed, I'm referring to these government agents showing up and having sex with women as people that they are not. So when a possessed male has sex with a woman and impregnates her, from that becomes a demon seed. And because he's a possessed man, it's not his complete genetic makeup, which is why if there were good scientists, if there were no covert doctors and scientists out there, the DNA would come back inconclusive.
In the earth realm for man. The earth was never created for spirits. That means that if there are any kinds of spiritual activities that are going on in the earth realm, they go on illegally. And so there's a lot of illegal activities that are going on through falling angels. The Bible talks about in the book of Revelation that there was...
Falling angels are government agents, elite men and women of science. Ilma too.
War in the heavenlies, and that Satan was thrown down to the earth, and there was a woe that went on out from the heavens onto the earth realm. The word woe means judgment. The Bible also says, according to Genesis chapter 6, that these demonic spirits cohabited with human beings, and when they cohabited with human beings, they created a population explosion.
Notice how the population is exploding from all these reckless pregnancies. I mean, they have one after another, after another, after another. Because they're trying to put their seeds in place, hoping that when I came along, I wouldn't get rid of them. Or if I got rid of them, elite men and women of science, and took from them, they have a chance to manifest through these seeds. That's all that's about. They just created millions of opportunities for them to manifest in that way. And believe it or not, they have, it's very sophisticated. They have insight. It's almost like an adult being in a kid's body. They have insight that they shouldn't have. Something like time capsules. Do I want to go into that some more? Demon seeds. That's going to be the most difficult part of my process, is cleaning up those seeds. Because even though I'll do it in a humane way, I still think, no, not really, because when it comes down to being able to get closer to Jesus and get rid of these seeds, this demonic stuff that's going to cause you nothing but turmoil and pain in your life, I'm pretty sure people would choose Jesus. People want to know what it's like to get a chance to live well. But like I said, it will be done in a humane way. And you have to think, everything that you read about in the Bible, it's just a story with a twist. It's almost like my story played out in a way with a negative twist on it. Catholic burnings, they often refer to me as like me burning people and children. That's how they've been referring to me. Like I'm going to put everybody in a pile and burn them. And that's not the case. Oh, the difference in her appearance. So once they attack Cindy, Not only did her teachings change, but her
description, a transformation.
appearances as well. And her, even her, speech. How can I open this up? Oh, maybe this would be the better way to go. Duh, why didn't I think of that?
The first thing they do when they show up, when they possess people, is they start doing cosmetic surgery, which is the devil. They take women that were confident. Paula White is another one. They take people that were confident in their appearance and change them to resemble something they are.
And the more that I spoke about having issues with her appearance and shining light on her appearance, her new appearance, they began to change it again. Can you see that closely?
That's like a different oh, there. Look at that. What they're doing with the camera. You see that? My hands are right here. Oops.
Okay, so
There's another one.
nothing like herself.
Nothing like herself. We're getting her more to a, I guess, trying to gather a more commercial look. But when these people can become you, they make a complete mockery of who you are.
I think that's enough examples.
This is another one.